Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Joe Speaks Out here on JoeExoticTV.com every night at 6 o'clock and now live on YouTube. Tonight we're going to take a trip down to NSYNC Exotics in Wylie, Texas and see just how they evolved from being a private owner. Well, it started back long ago when Vicki, now the CEO and owner of NSYNC Exotic in Wylie, Texas, obtained her first mountain lion as a pet. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, in her own writing, Vicki and Tahoe built a bond of love, trust, and learned to respect each other. You gotta ask yourself, if she can build a trust of a mountain lion to love and earn the respect of each other, why can't you as a private owner? She fell in love with the idea of having exotic cats so much with her first two mountain lions, she finally figured out exactly how to pull off that scam that I've been talking about for quite some time now. And that is to become a sanctuary, non-profit, and get someone else to take care of her hoarding problem. Okay, well, Vicki, the CEO and owner of NSYNC Exotic down there in Wylie, Texas, fell in love with the idea of having mountain lions as pets so much that she figured out how to pull off the perfect scam. Just like most sanctuaries, she figured out that she could file for a non-profit status and get the general public to fund her hobby. And in 2000, ladies and gentlemen, NSYNC Exotics was born. Now that she's non-profit and she has a sanctuary, she thinks that she's better off than any of you who own animals. In her own writing, she wants to hopefully have the end of ever needing a sanctuary again. This tells me two things. One is that she's off for extinction. Two is she intends on having cats longer than any of you do, because she's hoping to take those cats out of your homes and put them into her nice, lovely sanctuary. She, along with all of her friends in the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries and Carole Baskin, will be the only ones with big cats. Yep, you got that right. Right off her own website, she states that she's hoping that there'll be an end to a need of sanctuary. But until then, she's going to go and do programs at churches, schools, and put on tours and all kinds of things in order to make money and get the public to fund her hobby. Another thing that's absolutely amazing to me, and this is one of Big Cat Rescue's favorites, is to have white tigers. So that way they can tell the people that the only way to have white tigers is to inbreed them, which is completely false. The funny thing about that is Carole herself donated DNA from her white tigers to a research project to see if they all were related. Funny thing is they turned out a research paper last year with that very same DNA to prove that Carole Baskin's been lying this whole time. Her very own white tigers at Big Cat Rescue are definitely not inbred. But as you can see, NSYNC Exotic is pulling off the same thing. Rare white lions and white tigers. Now, where do you think you really rescue rare white lions that are worth $30,000 a piece in today's market? But hey, we have rare white lions and white tigers along with golden tabby tigers, which is one of the rarest kind of tiger there is out there right now. And we have them on our general public tours. And if that's not enough, that the tigers are working all day long to be on exhibit to do public tours, you can take a night tour as well. The question is what is exhibiting and what is exploiting? Well, down there at NSYNC Exotics in Wylie, Texas, that is accredited by the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, you can even take group tours up to 100 people and look at the animals. Or how about feeding the big cats for just a couple hours for nothing more than $100? You can get behind the barriers and pretend you're an employee. Why, by God, you can even bring your tent or your camper and do a camp out. Now that we've done feeding tours, group tours, public tours, and campouts, well, what else are we forgetting besides, hey, let's throw a party? One thing that they've joined the fight on, and that is trying to get Tony the Tiger away from the Tiger truck stop. You know, they put pictures online of Tony laying on top of that rock house. I don't see any difference than this lion living at NSYNC Exotics. Or hey, is this supposed to be going on at a legitimate sanctuary that bashes circuses, performing animals, and exploitation of animals? I would almost recommend that this looks kind of like making these lions do tricks in front of the group in order to entertain the customers for the day. Yep, by God, we're putting on one hell of a show for the clients today. I just don't understand where the morals and the scruples come from. Sanctuaries versus anybody else out there trying to make a living. Just a warning, the rest of this Speak Out's going to be a little bit graphic and a whole lot heartbreaking. But have no worries, have no fears. The HSUS and the GFAS is here. You gotta wonder, for an organization as the Humane Society of the United States that's supposed to care about animals, why on earth would they take 9 tigers and just send them to a facility that had 11 die and 22 diagnosed with distempers? But you got that right. They're all friends, they're all neighbors, and they really don't care about the animals. One of my favorite quotes are, they all say, rescued from a roadside zoo. What exactly is a roadside zoo? Sanctuaries are on the roadside. They're charging to get in. They're charging for tours, tickets, got a gift shop, everything else. What is a roadside zoo? Well, they rescued this lion from a roadside zoo and moved it to Wiley, Texas. Why? So it could die. It had trouble swallowing after it got there, and instead of making it go through pain, they euthanized it. And people in the fight with Tony the Tiger always wanted to say he'd be better off moved here. Well, this one right here, straight out of a Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries website, perfectly solves my argument. And that is, this lion here died from depression of moving him and losing his mate. So that would be exactly my argument behind Tony the Tiger of taking him out of a facility for 14 years and moving him and putting him behind wall somewhere where he'd have no interaction. What would happen to him within 6 months to a year? He would exactly die from depression. I have never seen an organization of sanctuaries in my life that are affiliated with the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries and Carol Baskin that have more animals die of cancer and bone diseases and degenerative diseases and more cancer and even more cancer. I have more cats than anybody in this country. And I, in the 15 years that I've been here in Oklahoma, have never, I mean never, had one cat die of tumors, cancer, kidney failure, or bone disease. But hey, I think I have some of the answers for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's called putting the money in your pocket instead of spending it on your animals. Why? Because for $3.99 to properly vaccinate the animals down there at InSync Exotic in Wiley, Texas, they had an outbreak of distemper, which put 22 tigers and lions and other cats at risk. It hit world news of how many cats were falling over dead every morning when they came to work all over the world. Straight out of a news article, Key said that she would expect to come in since there's only a 50% survival rate and find 11 of them dead, which 11 of them did die. And what do they need to raise in order to help stop this canine distemper problem? They could have spent $3.99 a year to vaccinate all their cats with ferret canine distemper, but instead, let's fill them pockets and raise $18,000 in one day. What exactly would you need $18,000 for when you have a veterinarian that's supposed to be volunteering at a sanctuary? You gotta ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen, why all these scams in order to profit off of exotic animals? Well, they raised their $18,000 in one day. They had 11 of their cats die, and they couldn't afford the vaccinations or to properly care for them when they were sick. So hey, let's bring in 9 more tigers in a problem already situation and get online and beg for money that you can't afford to feed them 9. We hit world news again. The North Texas Animal Sanctuary needs help feeding the new tigers. Now the big question is remember back in 2006, crazy ass Joe Exotic started a program called Feeding the Animals Across America. We could still, to this day, provide that sanctuary with more meat than they could ever use for free. And they turned it down. So now ask yourself, why would they turn down free meat, get on world news, and beg for money? I got the answer for you. Because they don't need the meat, they just want the money. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this segment with one more world news report about them needing money to help feed 9 new tigers. After the disaster of the distemper outbreak, killing all those tigers, having all these other tigers die of cancer, bone diseases, and you name it, depression. I'm Joe Exotic, and thanks for tuning in to tonight's special of Joe Speaks Out, here live every night at 6 o'clock on Central Standard Time on JoeExoticTV.com and now live on YouTube.